Hey everybody, and welcome to Fly Tying Tuesdays. My name is Brady with AvidMax, and today we're going to tie a nice little streamer pattern here called the Lil Kim. And so this is going to be on a 3X long shank, so this is the 5263 from TMCO. Nice streamer hook. And then we have our cone head, brass cone head bead on there, as well as just a little bit of lead wire up on the front. You don't typically want this fly to be too heavy, but I like to have kind of the undulating motion that's provided with a heavier head. So I'm going to start just a quick thread dam behind that wire to get going here, and we'll lock it all in place. You can jump up on it and secure it down like so. It's a great little fly, brought a lot of success in a video that we have, streamer fishing for trout, on our channel. You can go check that out. The link will be in the description for you if you want to see just a quick day on the water that we did last fall. Okay, so once we have that all kind of secured and in place, we're going to go ahead and pull our first material here. We're going to use some Marabou. So this is the strung Marabou blood quills. I like them for this pattern because they're nice and wispy. This is a very wispy pattern. So this is the olive brown color. I believe this is the same color combination that we used on the Eagle River that day, that those browns were interested in. So let's kind of prep our feather here and prepare it for tie-in. Just want those nice wispy fibers there. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a Marabou tail than you would use on like a woolly bugger, for example. So I usually do about 1.5 lengths of the shank for this. So we'll go 1.5, and we'll use that as our measuring point here. Let's take our thread back to where we're going to tie it in. Right about to where that barb was before I smashed it down. We'll go ahead and secure that right on the hook shank with some locking wraps here, just like so. And then we can utilize this material to kind of even out our taper as well. So we'll clip it off right where that lead stops and kind of use it to build our body. Trapping all those fibers as we go. Then we're going to come in and add a little bit of flash. For this, I'm going to add some copper Flashabou. Not too much, just a few fibers on the back, and then we'll kind of add them in as we go. So 3 or 4. Then I'm going to tie in same length as that Marabou tail there. You can always trim them afterwards too. So we'll secure it on either side of the hook shank here. So now we got it secured on one side, we can pull it over the top and tie it down on the other side here. And just pull those back and secure them in and trim out the long side. Okay, from there I'm going to add some crystal flash now right on top. This is some olive crystal flash. It's a really fun fly to fish as well. Dead drift it, strip it, swing it, all your different streamer retrieves. So measure that right about the same length as that Marabou again, but this section of flash is going to go right on top. This is the olive color of crystal flash. And we'll do a couple of locking wraps, and same thing, we can double it over here on top and secure it in place. From there, and save that extra crystal flash because we'll use some of it here on the front. From there, I'm going to do my body wrap material, my underbody material, which I'm just going to use some sparkle diamond braid. This is the red. And we'll tie that in right on the side here. And leave it out of the way for now. Stick it in our material clip. So that we can add our Palmer chenille as well. For that, I'm going to use this Palmer chenille, like I said. This is the large size from Wapsi in pearl, and I'm just going to trim it down just a little bit for this pattern. It's kind of long for bigger flies. But if you take, let's say 2/3 or so, then it ends up being pretty appropriate to this fly. I'm not quite sure the wrap material that is actually tied on this pattern commercially, but this gives a nice look. You could also do a dub loop with some crystal flash and some different colors and things if you prefer to go that route. But I just trimmed off a little bit off of the edge there, and I'll use that as my tie-in point here. Secure it to that hook shank with everything else that we got going on. And we'll keep that out of the way as well for now. Get all these materials where they need to be. There we go. And we'll just even out our body a little bit here. A nice flat base for our flat diamond braid there. And then we can make that transition up onto the wire and half hitch so we can start to wrap those materials forward. So you can use your material clip. Keep this Palmer chenille. Predator wrap works as well. Keep everything in order there. There we go. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap this red sparkle diamond braid on forward, just covering up our hook shank and our thread wraps, base of our body. Now you can capture that with your tying thread. And clip out the excess material. Okay, now that we have our red stuff laid out, I'm going to go ahead and half hitch so that we can bring that Palmer chenille on forward. So we'll go ahead and palmer it. Go with my hack pliers here, like so. Get all that Marabou out of there. Don't want to trap any of the tinsel like I have. There we go. Make sure it's facing the right way. There we go. So all we're going to do is palmer this forward with some nice open wraps, just a few times here. And we can come right on up to the front and capture that out. And clip out that material, excess material. Make sure it's nice and secure there. And then we can go ahead and add our next few materials. So we're going to add a little more of the Flashabou, the copper Flashabou. Nice accent to this pattern. And these ones I like to go a little bit longer, almost the full length of the body, to add kind of a lateral line. But same thing as in the rear. Secure it in, and then we'll pull it over. Whoops. Pull that back. Got away from me a little bit there. And capture it on the far side. And we can clip it to length again. And then we're also going to add a little bit of red down to the belly, making a red belly on this pattern. And this piece of flash I like to be just a little bit short, really just the length of the body here. So we'll pull that all up and secure this underneath. Flash is not participating well today. There we go. Pull that all on back. Got kind of a thread collar going here because we're going to lay down a few more materials and cover that all up. And get all these going where they're supposed to be. There we are. Trim them out, manipulate the materials how you have to get them to do what you want to, right? I want this streamer to be nice and wispy, so there's a lot kind of flailing around on it. From there, we're going to add a little more Marabou. So I'm going to take the same blood quills, prep it out again. Let's find a nice one here. And we're going to take this and we're going to lay it right on top. This one we're going to do short though. We're going to do just past the length of the body here. So kind of creating a profile to this as if it were a small bait fish. So just past the hook shank, maybe a quarter of the length past that hook shank there is where we're going to start this and tie it in right on top. Couple on top, couple behind. Clip out that excess. That feather's a little thin, so I'm going to add another one. Same thing, right on top. Let's do a different fly feather here. Be a little picky with your Marabou on this fly. You want it, again, I've said it like 6 times now, wispy is really the name of the game with this pattern. Marabou is great because you can build bulk without building weight. There we are. See that feather there that I've selected is great. The extra select Marabou is a good option for this fly as well. Blood quills are very nice quality though. So we'll tie that in on top also, mirroring the one that we just added. Like so. And then clean that up a little bit so that we can lay down our collar feather here, which is just going to be a little bit of slop end. So I'm using the barred slop end from MFC. This is the olive black barred. And on this fly, I like to use these kind of lower fibers, the ones that are a little bit fluffier than the fine fibers up top. So we're going to start down low when we tie this in. But prep it as you normally would to have a nice clean tie-in point here. We'll go ahead and secure that down. And clip out that extra stem. Make sure it's nice and secure with some firm wraps. And then we can palmer that forward as our collar as well. So I'm just pulling everything back as we go. Making sure to leave all those previous materials in place. And we'll do a few wraps, touching palmered wraps as close as we can all the way up and into that bead. And if you wet it a little bit, you can kind of get these to lay back for you, as they will once they're fished. And then we'll capture this feather. Get everything to lay down nicely. Clip out that excess. And then give it a quick half hitch. Again, great little streamer pattern. It's been very effective for me in the past. It's a lot of fun to fish. Definitely give her a try. And you can always come in and brush it out a little bit, get everything to go the direction that you want. There's your little Kim. Awesome little streamer pattern.